Good evening. It is Thursday, December 2nd. Here's the latest on the biggest stories of the day.
We begin this evening as the race for governor heats up with a familiar face entering the running. Democrat Stacey Abrams is hoping for a rematch with incumbent Republican Governor Brian Kemp. Our Karen Greer has the latest after hearing from all three candidates.
Good evening. This is shaping up to be very interesting. You know, Stacey Abrams' entrance into this governor's race is once again putting the political spotlight on Georgia, which has already become one of the most watched and really one of the most competitive states in the country.
The issue isn't the title of the job, it's the work. I grew up in communities that were so often left behind. I grew up in Mississippi and I moved to Georgia. I've lived in Georgia for more than half my life. But I haven't forgotten what it was like to live far away from the state capital, far away from the power. I know what it's like to live in a zip code that is disregarded. I want to be the governor of Georgia because I know how to do it right.
Former Georgia House Minority Leader Stacey Abrams is gearing up for what could be a rematch of the 2018 gubernatorial election. And Governor Kemp says he's ready.
Look, I've been preparing for this fight for 3 years, and we're ready for it. You know, this is no surprise yesterday what Stacey Abrams did getting in the governor's race. That's fully at what we expected the whole time. So why I've been working so hard on our fundraising, having a record first quarter. We're going to have a record second quarter, and we're just going to keep going. I've been in the fight and looking forward to it.
But Kemp will have to first defeat another Republican challenger for the chance to face off in the 2021 election. Former Georgia Democratic House Representative and DeKalb CEO Vernon Jones.
Georgians know that Vernon Jones is a much better candidate, and Vernon Jones can defeat and will defeat Stacey Abrams in the general election.
I asked Abrams what would be different in this race against now incumbent Governor Kemp.
If you're facing Governor Kemp for a rematch, what will be different? Hundreds of thousands of new voters. We have been able to wake people up to the opportunities they see when they vote.
And if she had the chance again, would she concede the 2018 race that she lost by 50,000 votes?
Absolutely. My responsibility in 2018 was to speak not for myself, but for the thousands of Georgians who were denied access to the right to vote. I've never filed a single lawsuit that challenged the election, but I have been intentional in my pursuit of expansion of the electorate, expansion of access to the right to vote, and pushing back against those who would claim the big lie in order to justify their gamesmanship and their willingness to steal power from Georgians.
Now, Abrams telling me she realizes that those first 100 days in office would be crucial if elected. She says she would focus her plans on providing struggling Georgians with Medicaid, something she says they need, and some are dying because they don't have it. So live from the Capitol, Karen Greer, CBS 46 News.
Karen, thank you. Concern growing tonight as the COVID-19 Omicron variant spreads on U.S. soil.
A second case was just detected in the Midwest only a day after the first was found in California. After first being identified in South Africa last week, the Omicron variant has now been detected in more than 25 countries. President Biden announcing plans today to combat the variant this winter.
CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy live at a vaccine site in Atlanta with more details. Jamie.
Yeah, good evening, Sean. So President Biden, one of his major things about this COVID plan is to get people to roll up their sleeves and really come down and fill up these vaccination sites and get their booster shots, just like that is from today's date. I just got mine today. And this is all happening while Georgians and many other people from the US are still stuck in the place where the variant was discovered.
My plan I'm announcing today pulls no punches.
But the president did say when announcing his new COVID plan for the winter is that they want everyone in the country to help fight.
This is a moment we can do what we haven't been able to do enough of through this whole pandemic. Get the nation to come together.
The new COVID plan hits on 5 major points, including boosters for those who are eligible, family vaccination sites, free at-home tests, 60 surge response teams for hospitals, and new test requirements for international travel. The news comes as health officials announced the second confirmed case of the new Omicron variant in Minnesota.
It's here. But we have the best tools, the best vaccines in the world, and the best medicine, and the best scientists in the world. We're going to fight this variant with science and speed, not chaos and confusion.
The president saying vaccine sites and pharmacies will stay open for longer, and pharmacies have agreed to send push notifications to the 110 million people eligible for the booster. International travellers starting next week will have to provide a negative test within a day of their departure time, fully vaccinated or not. Atlanta is one of only 3 airports with direct flight to South Africa where the new variant was discovered. Many from Georgia and around the country are still stuck on the continent, like Mother Nikki Barnes, because of quickly enforced travel restrictions.
Absolutely know that I'll cry when I get home and say, oh my God, we were stranded on another continent.
Her return flight was cancelled and she got a shock when trying to book a new one on Delta.
I think what made the situation so desperate, the airlines jacked the pricing up, the seats were scarce. So even when I looked at Delta flights, there was either one seat available, and again, I'm traveling with my child. I could pay $7,000 for a flight, but I could also, not have anywhere to stay.
I spoke to another man from Alpharetta who said that he was trying to get out of South Africa and fly to Mexico to quarantine. He's now scrapped that idea and trying to go to Kenya to get back to the US. So everyone just trying to do what they can to get back and move and be fluid as officials really try and plan to fortify and protect us against this new variant. In Atlanta, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
Jamie, thank you.
Tonight, we're seeing one of the people charged in the death of 14-year-old Kyra Scott. Investigators say this man, 19-year-old Yusef MacArthur L., and a 13-year-old are both charged with murder. Now, according to police, 13-year-old Wilson Brandon Scott III, who is Kyra's brother, was making and selling ghost guns online. On the day Kyra was killed, 2 people came to Scott's Douglas County home to buy a weapon. Instead, those 2 people allegedly stole the gun. Kyra's brother fired another weapon at them, but instead hit his sister.
She was full of positive, good energy, good vibes. Any room she walked in, she lit it up.
Does not feel real. Keep thinking we just gonna wake up and it's just gonna be back. We're gonna be back in the house. Everything gonna be regular. It ain't happened yet.
In addition to the 2 suspects already behind bars, police tell us there's still one more suspect on the run. Holiday cheer from across the country being felt tonight in Washington, D.C. The 99th National Christmas Tree Lighting. It happens this evening. 58 smaller trees, each representing a U.S. state and territory, surround the big tree. Hanging from the branches are ornaments designed by students from across the nation.
This is the National Christmas Tree, and what better symbol of our country than students from across the nation and abroad giving their artwork representing home and what makes it special to them surrounding the tree.
The America Celebrates Ornaments program is one of the highlights of the National Christmas Tree Experience. The trees and ornaments will be on display until January 1st. Go and look for Georgia's ornaments for sure. And last night, Governor Brian Kemp and his family lit Georgia's state capitol tree.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lots of cheers as the tree is lit up with thousands of lights. The 23-foot Eastern Red Cedar from Palmetto, Georgia, it's decorated with 25,000 lights. The ceremony also included a performance from the Atlanta Boy Choir before the tree lighting.
A Clayton County community invited to mourn Officer Henry Laxon with his now former colleagues. We are still working to find out when his funeral will be held, but Laxon was shot and killed Tuesday night, you may recall, in Rex after he and another officer responded to a domestic violence call. 2 women were also killed. Police shot the gunman. A second officer was shot in the hand. Also injured a 12-year-old boy who was shot in the face. And hours after that shooting, 2 DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies were shot in Lithonia. Agents with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation are now tasked with finding out more and more about what happened. CBS 46's Tori Cooper has been following the latest developments, and she explains what police have learned so far.
We're getting a closer look into the manhunt for 38-year-old Edward Allen Gatling.
It was later received a call from the community, someone from the community stating that the subject was hiding.
Gatling, who is pictured here, pulled the trigger on 2 DeKalb deputies who were trying to serve a warrant to him early Wednesday morning for aggravated assault with intent to murder related to an October shooting. While police were trying to execute the warrant, authorities say Gatling fired through the door of an apartment on Wellington Circle, hitting deputies Jared Hunt and Aaron Jackson. Gatling then took off into the woods with his rifle and backpack, sparking a massive manhunt with more than a dozen agencies who descended upon the area.
They are doing fine.
Within 6 hours, a community tip led law enforcement agencies to this wooded area just off Covington Highway. Police blocking off part of the highway, even prompting a shutdown at a nearby Sonic while deputies combed through the woods alongside a nearby creek. SWAT teams eventually spotted Gatling in the woods. They ordered him to put down his rifle and show his hands. That's when Gatling fired at law enforcement, but officers quickly returned fire, shooting and killing Gatling on scene. Both officers are now recovering in the hospital.
Now, obviously, a very difficult week for law enforcement, but the GBI tells us that they will still be conducting their own independent investigation, and then they will be submitting that to the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office for further review. In DeKalb County, I'm Tori Cooper, CBS 46 News.
Tori, thank you.
Police need your help identifying persons of interest in a smash and grab. Watch this video. It shows a brazen robbery at a gas station in Union City. It happened Monday at the Shell gas station on Flat Shoals Road. This was about 9 in the morning. You could see those thieves used a sledgehammer to break into the coin lottery machine. If you know who the suspects are, call police.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.